Good day, ma'am. My name is Arian Elmenarias, and our research title is all about traditional ecological knowledge and climate resilience, treating indigenous conservation and practices in coastal communities. This research examines how traditional ecological knowledge or TIC contributes to marine conservation and sustainability in coastal communities. It highlights the role of indigenous knowledge in resource management and the challenges of integrating tech into modern governance frameworks. The study explored environment changes, traditional practices, and communities' resilience strategies to promote sustainable marine resources management. So this research look at how traditional ecological knowledge or TIC is the environmental knowledge passed down through generation in indigenous communities, help protect marine ecosystem and support sustainability in coastal areas. It focused on how indigenous knowledge play a role in managing natural resources and the difficulties of combining it with modern conservation policies. The study also examined environmental challenges, traditional ways of managing resources, and how communities adapt to maintain sustainable marine practices. Theoretical framework. First is traditional ecological knowledge or TIC theory. Barkis 2012 focused on indigenous knowledge system for resource management. So this theory focused on how indigenous communities use their traditional knowledge to manage natural resources sustainably. It emphasized the value of cultural practices and generational wisdom in environmental conservation. Next theory is Socio-Ecological System or SES, Theory Ostrom 2009. Analysis how communities interact with and adapt to environmental changes. This theory looks at how people and nature interact. It studies how communities adapt to environmental changes and manage resources over time, balancing ecological and social needs. Next is Political Ecology Theory, Rubens 2012, examine governance structures and policy impact on indigenous conservation efforts. This theory explores how politics, policies, and power structures affect environmental conservation. It examines the challenges indigenous communities face due to government regulations and external influence on the resource management practices. Research objective. First is investigate how indigenous communities utilize traditional ecological knowledge TIC in marine conservation. Second is identify the challenges preventing TIC from being integrated into formal governance structures. And the third is recommend policy improvement to support sustainable and inclusive marine conservation. Methodology. We use qualitative data through interview, changes in the environment and resource availability. Key point, demographic and personal information, name, Marilyn Danag, location, Sibaca, Rizal, Zamboanga del Norte, age 26, female, fisher, and 67 years in community. Knowledge of coastal environment and marine resource is Danggit, Bugalbog, Kitong, Mamsa, and Saang. Coastal vegetation is mangroves, Baghaw, Pagatpat are important for coastal protection and marine biodiversity. Traditional practices and indigenous knowledge conservation practices is no structured rituals, resilience, and prayers for protection and blessings. Changes in the environment and resource availability, declining fish population is fewer fish compared to previous years or weather changes, unpredictable rainfall and rising sea levels. Fishing challenges is storms and climate changes make fishing and gathering more difficult. Sustainable practices and community regulation, community protection efforts, bantay dagat, patrols against illegal fishing, resource management following a government improved law and regulation to protect the environment, indigenous knowledge and modern practices, use of modern techniques, fishing nets, pukot, and boat o sakayan have replaced older methods. Government support and technology adoption, perception of technology help improve fishing efficiency. Government some programs access for monitoring marine health but community impact is limited. Future outlook and recommendation concerns environment and degradation, decreasing fish stock, advice to youth a take care of the sea it sustain future generation. Desired conservation practices bringing back coastal clean up and initiative. Discussion and analysis. Theme 1, Environmental Degradation and Climate Change. Theme 2, Traditional versus Modern Resource Management. Theme 3, Indigenous Knowledge and Local Conservation Efforts. And Theme 4, Government Support and Policy Gaps. And the last is Future Outlook and Sustainability Concern. Major finding. Theme, environmental degradation and climate change. Pattern, decrease in fish population, climate change impact, interpretable weather. Finding, climate change and women activities creating marine biodiversity. Traditional versus modern resource management. Pattern, shift to modern fishing technology, some harmful to the environment. Finding, balance is needed between efficiency and sustainability. Theme, indigenous knowledge and local conservation efforts. Pattern spiritual belief influence conservation but lack in structured implementation. Finding indigenous knowledge is valued but not wisely practiced in conservation. Government support and policy gap. Patterns minimal government support and effective policy implementation. Finding need for better policies and community engagement. Future outlook and sustainability concern. Pattern desire to restore past conservation practices concern over overfishing. Finding future sustainability requires stronger conservation strategies. Conclusion and recommendation. Conclusion. The interview with Marilyn Danang reveals that climate change, overfishing, and modern fishing techniques are reducing fish population and making weather pattern unpredictable. While the community values conservation efforts are mostly individual and lack formal rituals, modern fishing methods have increased efficiency but also learn marine ecosystem. Limited government support and weak policies make sustainable resource management difficult. However, there is strong interest in reviving traditional conservation practices and teaching responsible fishing to future generations. Recommendation: strengthen conservation strategies, improve government support and policy implementation, balance modernization with sustainability, increase community involvement in environmental and management. Future research direction. First is investigate the long-term effect of climate change of fish population and coastal ecosystem in the region. Second is assess the effectiveness of the modern fishing technologies in balancing productivity and environmental sustainability. Third is study the role of indigenous knowledge in conservation and explore ways to integrate into modern environmental policies. And the last is evaluate the impact of government policies of or small fisheries to identify gaps and recommendation improvement.